If you know me, you know that I am very much a lover of languages and etymology. So you can imagine my excitement when I came across an article about the etymology of the word seven. I had typed into a search engine seven in Hebrew and its connection with the word Sabbath. Because the Hebrew word for seven is like shevi or shevi, and Sabbath is connected with words such as Shavat and Shabbat. So in Hebrew, the word Shiva and the word Shav, S-H-A-V, Shavat, they all have roots and meanings in these following words: covenant, returning, ceasing. In Genesis 21, we read about Abraham. Remember, Abraham had a dispute with Abimelech, and he brought him some animals. How many animals did he bring? 7 animals, and they made an agreement or a covenant, and that place was called the place of the covenant, or Beersheba, which means the well of the covenant. And in some translations of the Bible or some footnotes of the Bible, it will say it's as well as being the well of the covenant, it's also the well of 7. Even in mysticism, in Hebrew mysticism, if you look at things in 3 dimensions, you have up and down. That's 2 dimensions. Then you have left and right. It's 2 dimensions. Then you have front and back. That's another 2 dimensions. So if you look in 3-dimensional way, you see that you have up and down, left and right, front and back. Okay, so there are 6 points: up and down, left and right, front and back. There are 6 points. But where they all meet, the place where they all meet, is that central point. So the word shav, meaning, or shiva or shavat, to do with a covenant and to do with returning, the point of returning. If you look at the root words for the word Shabbat, shavat and shav, the idea is that Sabbath, being the 7th day, is a point of return. You're returning to something. And also, Sabbath is also a covenant as well. So that's built into the language. So when the commandment says remember, remembering is to do with returning. Yeah, when you've got an idea in your head, you remember it, you return to that idea. And also a covenant, it's making an agreement between 2 people. So you're saying, this is your side, this is my side, and you say, remember to keep your side, remember to keep your agreement, your side of the agreement. So Shavat, the word Shavat, S-H-E-V-A-T, means to cease. And you're ceasing from something not just simply because you're tired. Of course, God wasn't tired when he finished making this earth. It's that he had finished making it. He ceased because it was done. The work had been finished. It was complete. So it all has to do with perfection and completion. Something is finished. So that's where that language connection is with Shabbat and Shav, Shiva, Shabbat, all to do with the idea of ceasing, completion, and also returning, and also covenant. All right, they're connected words. And we already know that in some languages, we've heard this when we're talking about the Sabbath, some languages already have the word for Sabbath, meaning Saturday. So Spanish, for example, Sabato, Italian, Sabato, and Polish, Sobota. But those who speak French and German will know that the word for Saturday is samedi in French, and then Samstag in German. And you might think, well, what's that got to do with the words Sabbath, samedi? And well, if you look at the origin of the French word, samedi comes from two words, which is Sambati dies. Dies means a day, it's Latin for a day, and Sambati means a Sabbath. So dies, Sambati, the day of the Sabbath. Sambati dies becomes Samedi. Same in German. Samstag, the Sam bit of Samstag, Tag obviously means a day, translates straight into the English language day, Samstag, and Sams, the Sams part of it comes from Sambat, meaning Sabbath. Cases are from older Greek variations of the word for Sabbath, Sabbat, Sambat, Shambat, and so forth. Now, the English language, now this is what I found really interesting, because the word for Saturday in English actually comes from Saturn's day, so it maintains the old kind of pagan mythological connection, Saturn's day. But, strangely enough, I had a little look at this mythological god. Okay, it's mythology, so we know it's not real. But Saturn is described as being the god who ruled during what was known as the Golden Age, when it was said that the earth was at peace, and being the god of agriculture, agriculturally the earth produced enough food that, wait for it, mankind did not have to work. Mankind did not have to work because there was enough food. And that reminds me of the story of the Sabbath in Exodus, where God said, collect double, because that double on the Friday, you'll be provided for on the Sabbath. That will carry you over. There will be provision for the Sabbath. You don't have to do anything because the provision is already there for the Sabbath. So even though the word Saturday in English language has nothing to do, it's no religious, spiritual connotations at all, and it's all mythological, even in mythology, the principle of the Sabbath is not escaped. And I find that really, really fascinating. So it's been really interesting looking at these connections and finding that you cannot get away, you cannot escape the fact that inbuilt linguistically is the idea of the Sabbath and seven and those connections, Sabbath and covenant, Sabbath and return, the cycle of the world and the returning to God. So that should provide, I think, some inspiration as to what Sabbath means to us. In the fact that we are God's. There's a covenant that we belong to God. He belongs to us. And that's a beautiful thought. So, happy Sabbath.